You know, a massive multi-part documentary should be made about the history and histrionics of this failed movie studio, which basically had so many connections worldwide that people could barely keep up. Now, if you like the Rambo movies, if you like very cheap Canadian movies, if you like exploitation movies, this was a movie studio for you. Now, Carolco was a private independent movie company officially founded in 1976 by Mario Casar and Andrew G. Vagina. Now, it eventually went defunct in 1995 when its assets and name was sold to the great production company Studio Canal. Now, they were based in Boca Raton, Florida for a number of years, and Vagina eventually left to form Synergy Pictures in 1989, and it hit its peak in the 1980s and early 1990s with blockbuster successes during the first three films in the Rambo series: Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, and Stargate. Nevertheless, the company was losing money overall for obvious reasons. We'll get into that to a second. Not only because of salaries, because of distribution, and required a corporate restructuring in 1992. The 1995 bomb, Cutthroat Island, with Gina Davis, intended to be a comeback for the studio, instead lost $147 million, which was pretty well the capital they had on hand, and eventually caused the bankruptcy of the company. Now, when it was founded by Mario and Andrew, the two were hailed by Newsweek as some of the most successful independent producers. Now, Vagina had a weird background. He was originally, of all things, a wig maker, and he eventually became the owner of two theaters in Hong Kong. Then, Vagina ventured into production and distribution of feature films. One of his early productions was a 73 martial arts film entitled The Deadly China Doll, which made $3.7 million worldwide from a $100,000 budget. Now, their goal was to focus on film sales, with their first venture being the Sicilian Cross, and eventually went to financing low-budget films. Now, this is where they found their way in Canada. We'll get that in a second. The earliest films were produced by American International Pictures. A lot of people have seen that logo at drive-ins through the years. And ITC Entertainment, the British conglomerate, with Carolco's financial support. They also co-produced movies with Canadian theatre magnate Garth Drabinsky. Now, the name Carolco was purchased from a defunct company based in Panama, and according to Kazar, it has no meaning. Now, the first major success was First Blood in 1982, was an adaptation of Canadian David Morrell's novel of the same name. Castor and Vajra took a great risk buying the film rights to the novel for $385,000 to use the help of European bank loans to cast Sylvester Stallone as a lead character, who was Vietnam War veteran John Rambo, after having worked with him on the John Huston film Escape to Victory, which was a marginal success. The risk paid off after First Blood made $120 million worldwide and placed the movie company among the major players in Hollywood. The sequel, Rambo, was timed for the 10th anniversary of the United States exit from the Vietnam War, which is 85, and that event garnered publicity for the new film, which also became a hit. Now, the release of the two Rambo films was so instrumental to Carolco's financial success that the studio focused more on big-budget action films, with major stars such as Stallone, who had signed a 10-picture deal, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, these films, aimed at appealing to a worldwide audience, were financed using a strategy known as pre-sales, in which domestic and foreign distributors invested in these marketable films in exchange for local releasing rights. Now, also in 85, Carolco began a distribution deal with a then fledgling studio, TriStar, with the film Rambo First Blood Part 2. Now, TriStar released the majority of their films from that point on in the States and in some other countries until 1994. Now, when he had home video distribution as well, independent video distributor International Video Entertainment, or IVE, was going through financial difficulties and was near bankruptcy. Now, in 1986, Carolco purchased IVE in hopes of turning the company around. The deal was finalized a year later, and he merged with another distributor, Lieberman, and became Live Entertainment in 1988. Now, in August 2887, they acquired television syndicator Orbis Communications for $15.4 million and initiated television production and distribution. They also purchased the former De Laurentiis Entertainment Group production facility in Wilmington, North Carolina, a very interesting movie and TV location, and established Carolco Home Video with live entertainment as output partner. Now, Vajra sold a share of Carolco in December 89 for $186 million to Kassar due to increasing disagreements with Kassar over the direction of the company. That November, Vajra formed Synergy Pictures with Walt Disney as a distribution partner. Now, Kassar's ownership of the company, because of the sale, increased to 62%. Now, in 1990, Carolco acquired from Homemade Film Corporation the rights to make a sequel to the Terminator. Now, the company already had the television rights, the original film courtesy of a television distribution deal with Hemdale. The company rehired Terminator director James Cameron, who had worked as a screenwriter on Rambo 2, and Schwarzenegger, the star in $1 million budgeted sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It was the highest grossing film of the year and the most successful film in Carolco's history. Halfway through the year, they entered a joint venture with New Line Cinema to start Seven Arts, a distribution company which primarily released much of Carolco's low-budget output. They also struggled for some years to secure the rights to Spider-Man, a property that Cameron was keen to produce as a film. Now, plans fell through, though Columbia Pictures would eventually produce several Spider-Man films. Towards the end of shooting the Schwarzenegger movie True Lies, Variety carried the announcement that Carolco had received a completed screenplay from Cameron. The script bore the names of Cameron, John Brancato, Ted Newsom, Barry Cohen, and Joseph Goldman. A typographical scrambling of Manelman Goldman's pen name, Joseph Goldman, with Marvel executor Joseph Calamari. Now, Goldman had previously unsuccessfully tried to produce a Spider-Man film for his own studio, Canon Films. The script's text was identical to what Goldman had submitted to Columbia the previous year, with the addition of a new 1993 date. Now, Cameron's stalwart Arnold Schwarzenegger was frequently linked to the project as the director's choice for all things Dr. Octopus. As late as 1995, internet industry sources such as Baseline Hollywood still both Neil Rutenberg, author of one of the 1990 Doc Ock variations submitted to Columbia, and Cameron as co-writers. Now, Carolco also attempted to make Bartholomew vs. Neff, a comedy film that has been written and directed by John Hughes, and would have starred Stallone and John Candy, but that fell through as well. Now, though they made several successful films through the 1990s, including Total Recall, Terminator 2, and Basic Instinct, the studio was gradually losing money as the years went on. They mixed blockbusters with small-budget art house films, which were not profitable. In addition, the studio was criticized for overspending on films through reliance on star power and for far-fetched deals. Now, according to published reports, Schwarzenegger received the then unheard of $10 to $14 million for his work on Total Recall and Terminator 2. Stallone also had similar treatment. Losses of partnerships also threatened the studio's stability and drove it towards bankruptcy. Now, in 92, Carolco went under corporate restructuring, invested in by a partnership of Rizzoli Correia della Sera of Italy, the Studio Canal Plus of France, Pioneer Electric Corporation of Japan, and the once failed MGM. Each partner helped infuse up to $60 million into the studio stock and another $650 million for co-financing deals. MGM also agreed to distribute Carolco's product domestically after a previous deal with TriStar expired, and Columbia later merged with TriStar. Now, in 93, Carolco was forced to sell its shares in Live to a group of investors led by Pioneer. It was later renamed Artisan Entertainment, which was bought by the big conglomerate Lionsgate Entertainment. Now, cutbacks of Carolco also forced the studio to make a deal with TriStar for the funding of the Stallone action film Pretty Well a Bomb Cliffhanger. They would have to sell full distribution rights in North America, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, and France to TriStar in exchange for the half of the film's budget. Although a major box office success, it was still a critical bomb. Carolco saw little revenue from Cliffhanger since it ended up becoming a minority owner in the film. Its attempt to make more of its specialties proved to be more strenuous, as the studio had to shelve Crusade, an upcoming Schwarzenegger vehicle based on a script by Roland Green, and with Paul Verhoeven, of all people, attached as director. In '94, when the budget exceeded $100 million, it was shelved. Now, Carolco was able to complete a merger with the Vista organization in late '93. So a lot of pieces going around, like in the situation. Now, when he attempted to come back with the big budget swashbuckler Cutthroat Island, with, of all people, Michael Douglas in the lead, Douglas eventually dropped out early in his production and was replaced by the less bankable Matthew Modine. Gina Davis, cast as the female lead throughout True Her Ties with her then husband, the director Rennie Harlan, was already an established A-lister, but was coming off a string of flops. Now MGM hoped to advertise Cutthroat Island based on spectacle rather than cast. In an attempt to raise more financing for the projected $100 million movie, they sold off the rights to several films in production, including Last of the Dogmen, Stargate, and Showgirls. In November '95, he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Cutthroat Island was released at Christmas, became a box office disaster. He agreed to sell his assets to 20th Century Fox for $50 million. But when Canal Plus made a $58 million bid for the library in January '96, Fox, which by then lowered the purchase price to $47.5 million, dropped their deal. Now, a new partnership was eventually formed between Carolco's owner, Mario Kassar, and Synergy's owner, Andrew G. Vagina, back together. In '98, the duo formed C2 Pictures and produced Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, and Basic Instinct 2, among other films. Now, in 2015, film producer Alex Bafer purchased the Carolco name and logo. On January 20th of that year, he renamed his production company Carolco Pictures, formerly known as Bricktop Productions. He then recruited Mario Kassar as the chief development executive of the new Carolco. However, on April 7th, 2016, it was announced that both Bafer and Kassar had left the company. And Kassar took with him one of Carolco's planned projects, a remake of the '99 Japanese horror film Audition, which he was producing. Investor Tarek Kirshen was then inducted as Carolco's CEO. In 2017, Studio Canal and Carolco reached an agreement whereby Studio Canal would have sole control of their Carolco name and logo, and the Carolco Pictures Company would be renamed Recall Studios. That agreement settled a legal dispute over the Carolco mark brought by Studio Canal. The arrangement took effect on November 29th of that year. Now, after his bankruptcy, the assets of Carolco were sold off to other companies, most already sold during Carolco's existence. In March 1996, Canal Plus purchased the library in bankruptcy court for $58 million. The ancillary rights to Carolco's library up to 1995 were held by French production company Studio Canal, since its parent company, Canal Plus Group, owned a stake in Carolco, eventually buying out its partners. Now, on September 17, 1991, Multimedia Entertainment acquired selected assets of Carolco's television distribution unit, Orbis Communications. Now, in '92, Carolco licensed television distribution to its library to Spelling Entertainment, Errol Spelling, in order to pay off debt. Now, in North America, with certain exceptions, those rights were held by Paramount Television Studios through Trifecta Entertainment Media as its successor to Spelling Entertainment. Now, all of the rights in terms of home video were licensed to Lionsgate on an ongoing deal with Studio Canal. Lionsgate in turn licensed those rights in Canada to Entertainment One, although theatrical rights to most of the library was split between Sony Pictures and Rialto Pictures, the later company acting on behalf of Studio Canal. So chess pieces, international distribution, you're talking about billions and billions and billions of revenue, but billions and billions of costs and acquisition. Now, Studio Canal itself held full distribution rights in France, Germany, Australia, Ireland, UK. In other territories, Studio Canal licensed home video rights to Universal Pictures Home Entertainment. Now, the filmography was quite interesting. Let's start with the 1970s. We got, again, the Sicilian Cross, a small town in Texas, Future World, Cassandra Crossing, great movie. Domino Principle, Eagle Has Landed, March or Die, The Silent Partner, that Canadian movie that was taken. Winter Kills. The previous movies, a lot of you had EIP, ITC, AVCO got involved as well. Fantastic Seven, Sensuous Nurse. Then we get the Canadian ones again, The Changeling, Connecticut to President. Then you got The Agency, Suzanne, Shogun, Tribute, Carolco, The High Country, The Last Chase, the soccer movie with Stallone, Escape to Victory. Carbon Copy, Your Ticket is No Longer Valid, The Amateur, First Blood, Superstition, Rambo Part 2, Angel Heart, Extreme Prejudice, Prince of Darkness, Pound Puppies and Legend of Big Paw, Rambo 3, Red Heat, They Live, Iron Eagle 2, Watchers, Deep Star 6, Pathfinder, Field of Dreams, Food of the Gods, Lock Up, Johnny Handsome, Shocker, The Wizard of Music Box. In the 90s, Mountains of the Moon, Opportunity Knocks, Total Recall, Air America, Narrow Margin, Jacob's Ladder, Hamlet, Steve Martin's L.A. Story, The Doors with Bill Graham's company involved, Career Opportunities, The Punisher, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Basic Instinct, Incident Ogallala, Universal Soldier, Light Sleeper, Chaplin, Cliffhanger, Wagons East, Stargate, Last of the Dogmen, Showgirls, and then Cutthroat Island. Now with the 7 arts, you had Repossessed, King of New York, Queen's Logic, Sweet Talker, Dice Rules, Defenseless, Rambling Rose, Get Back, The Dark Wing, and Aces, Iron Eagles 2. So a lot of these movies have been nominated for Oscars, international awards, but the amount of strange machinations to get everything done. But when you would go to the theater, my dad had told me about Carolco. They were pretty well the last drive-in studio. If American International Pictures and AMC, if I'm not wrong, is with the car distribution company. The majority of their productions were, as you can tell, there was too many female-themed movies. This was a male-orientated studio, and that was their curse, and that was their success. They only could go so far, but with all the different, they brought in Stallone and Schwarzenegger, and the cost was too high in the long run. Short-term results for long-term pain, and it worked out. But it's a part of history. Now, I would like to see someone would work on a big Netflix 4-part series, but I'm not sure about even showing the film rights, or even a lot of these films would still be in in possession. It would take probably a 2-year investigative documentary to touch upon all the drama. But to put all your money at the end, and of all people, Matthew Modine and Gina Davis, that was the coup de grace, as we say. And, we talked about different studios that we're going to talk as well about Orion in the next of our kind of movie look this week. Orion Pictures, again. And Orion, having Kevin Costner under movie contract as well, kept him going. But when Carolco did Field of Dreams, I said, hey, they're turning a corner, and unfortunately, it wasn't what everybody expected. Anyway, if you like what we're doing here with our screenshots of podcasts, let us know. Like, comment, or subscribe. And I'd like to say thank you to all our new listeners in the last couple of days. We've had some historical podcasts or archive podcasts that are trending very well. I thank you for listening. We're nearing 250,000 hits on our podcast channel, which is amazing because there's no monetization, no ads, no promotion. It's just word of mouth. And thank you for keeping this channel vibrant and alive and successful. Have a good day. Bye.